you have your phone and stuff on a boat. You're next to the boat. You're not like necessarily floating off somewhere way away from the boats. It's tons of boats. So what you do is you hang out in the water, you drink, you talking or whatever, and then when you want to do something with your phone, you just go to the boat, which is sometimes within arm distance or sometimes within several feet.
We have Officer Tatum right now. He's talking about Nolan Wells and his phone, and he's talking with Cuomo. But did he make a big mistake even speaking about this? He did bring up the Snapchat after he said before on Nancy Grace that it wasn't so much service when he went out there. So we're going to get into it also. Salute to everybody. If you're new, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you're liking, subscribing, hitting the notification bells, and hyping the videos if you can. Let's get on go.
Phone, him leaving the phone, is that a function of him just forgetting in the moment? I get why you wouldn't take a phone with you into the water, even if you're bouncing from boat to boat. I get it. I know that kids don't want to leave their phones, but I'm on a boat all the time. All right, I got water behind me. You know, we're water babies where I live. Kids don't bring their phones into the water. It's a mistake.
In this situation, this is much more so, and the reason is I think people are not being able to put together visually what it looks like out there. You have your phone and stuff on a boat. You're next to the boat. You're not like necessarily floating off somewhere way away from the boats. It's tons of boats. So what you do is you hang out in the water, you drink, you talking or whatever, and then when you want to do something with your phone, you just go to the boat, which is sometimes within arm distance or sometimes within several feet, and you get on the boat and do your Snapchat or whatever you got to do, and then you leave it on the boat because you're in water to your chest. People are not going to be holding their phone like this. And then the reception out there is kind of spotty. So it's not like they got Wi-Fi out there and everybody can just upload stuff. So a lot of people are not really interested in their phones. They've gotten away from the mainland.
So the phone on the boat was never going to be a dispositive fact. It seemed like that early on, but we were thinking land-based, not water-based. Then what did you pick up of? What's your best sense at this point, preliminary as it is, so they say, all right, you want to stay with the girl. How does Katie help? You were saying that it's not clear when she disengaged. Is there anything that you now know about what happened once they leave?
Cool. We're going to get right to Katie and what he thinks about Katie. That's good. That's a good question, Cuomo. But look, right before that, though, they're having a discussion about his phone being on the boat, and you could go right to the boat and do your snap or whatever you need to do. But when you read the Marine Patrol Police report, and I read the geospatial timeline report, but on the police report, it says this, okay? Listen to this. Besides the line that's highlighted, that's going to be next for what he wants to speak about. But before that, we're going to start from the top paragraph. We got line 1, we got line 2. In line 3, you see 18 years old right here, right? Okay. It says, her 18-year-old son rode to Horn Island on a vessel with friends and was last seen around 1500 hours, and his phone was in a friend's truck, and the friends said that they had returned from the island. Okay, his phone was in a friend's truck. So what would make Nolan leave his phone in a friend's truck at all? And this is what was relayed to the mom, because this is the mom that's making this call. All right. And she's thinking that her son's phone was left in the truck. Like he never even brought it to the island at all. And he never even put it on the boat at all, fearing that it's going to get damaged by water, which doesn't make sense to me at all. I'm not even you know what I mean? A big boater. But every time I've been on a boat, I've had my phone for real. If I can make the last call, I'm going to make it. Right. So now look at this line right here down here, the one that's highlighted. It says Nolan, and that when they left the island, that he was in the company of an unknown female. And that's very important to me as well. Because why is Katie an unknown female when it seems more like a close-knit town? You know what I mean? Even Ashley Cole, who's Warren's stepmother, she knows about Christine Wansley. She knows her from high school. And she said that it's a tight-knit community. So why would they know nothing of Katie? Now Katie's an unknown woman, and they spoke to several people who was around them and with them and asked them those questions, and no one knew Katie. But why was Nolan's phone on the truck at all? Let's get back to it.
Yeah, it's nothing. It's still a big gap because a lot of his friends that knew him that we're communicating with, they were gone. And the only person left behind that we know of that can attest to any of this is that girl, Katie. And I saw some of her text messages, but we reached out to them to try to see if she can put some more context, because everybody's saying that he was hugged up with Katie. Like literally, Warren said she was cradled in his arms. Like, he's feeling her. They feeling each other.
Mhm.
So at what point do they separate? And at what time? Because the boys left around 4:30. Trayston left before the boys left because he got into a fight and his uncle made him leave, and they got on a boat and left. And so all of this is going on. A lot of the boys that were with him had already left. Then the question is, who saw Nolan after this?
Mhm.
How late was Nolan at the island from somebody's visual? And the fact that Katie, and I'm not saying she did anything wrong. I just have not had a chance to talk to her and
Mhm.
get her context enough to rule out the fact that she may have been the last person to see him alive.
Did
Even
she
if
talk?
didn't-
Did she talk to the cops?
I'm not sure, but I think she did.
They say they have 60 interviews.
Yes. So that, with that being said, I think that
So 60
everybody
interviews. There's
What's strange is that the only people that he has spoken to are just those young men and their families. That's it. So we can understand the side that Officer Tatum is on. He's never spoken to the Wells Wansley family. All right. Even Warren and them mom said, you know what, we most definitely be in contact with the family, with Benjamin Crumb. We'll do anything we can do to help the investigation, all kind of things. Even people that's from the other side of that. But yet he never spoke to the mom, never spoke to Katie, none of these things. But now he's aiming it all on Katie now, which Katie could potentially can be the last person that saw him. But is Katie really the last person that saw him? And the way he's spinning it, you won't even look at the boys at all. You won't look at Nolan's friends. So we understand the side that this man is on. We just got to be honest with ourselves.
agitate you about Ben Crump, but he is right, and so is the family, that somebody knows something, right? Because unless Nolan said, I'm not coming with you, I'm going to go to the island and run the length of the island, which is like 10, 12 miles long. Unless he said something like that, he was with other people when they left.
There's a great possibility that he was, and there's also a possibility that he could have wandered off and drowned, because the way they described it, and people have drowned there often.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think they said like 3 or 4 people per year drown right there.
He could have wandered off and drowned. So what does how do you explain the red discoloration in the back of his head? How do you explain that? How do you explain if he drowned and we're doing a second autopsy, why wouldn't the first people that made the autopsy, okay, why wouldn't they give you the anterior internal neck structures and the lung? Because that's how you would determine if a person drowned or not. Why didn't they ever give that to the second autopsy if they have nothing to hide? If you're going to really conduct a full autopsy, you need the neck structures, you need the lung, you need the gastric contents, and all of those things, so that you can maybe do your own toxicology report as well to see what the contents of his stomach and what the alcohol level is, right? So why didn't they allow them to do that? He'll never answer those kinds of questions. Trust.
Horn Island. And it's because of the tide. And it's a
Mm-hmm.
weird little situation on the west side of the island where they were at. And they were showing it to me, and it get rough. And there's an undercurrent.
They call
and
it the
all that
washing
stuff.
machine.
Right. That's what they said, a washing machine. And so no matter how good of a swimmer you are, you get caught in the middle of that, you can drown. And when you're in an environment where there's hundreds of people out.
Let's stop him for a second. We're just going to show you this real quick, all right? We understand that bodies found in long periods of water can get bruising, right? You have bruising when you're alive, and you have bruising post-mortem after you're unalived, right? So we understand that if a body's in water, right, waves, what can cause bruises? Look on the left side. Boats impacts, collisions, propellers, all those things. We got the rocks, the seashells, the debris, the waves, right? The shoreline. When you make contact with the shoreline, all of those things can cause bruising to the body. But when you get bruises post-mortem, is different than ante-mortem when you're alive, right? You see the blood rushes to that area to help heal it, right? But when you are unalive, you just get the bruising, but the bruising looks completely different, right? It's different in color, right? It's different in where it's at. All of those different things are happening, right? So when we think about that, why would it be on a second autopsy, right, There's no evidence of deep tissue injury, no fractures, no deep tissue injury. Only the focal area of the red discoloration in the soft tissue of the back of the head, the occipital region. That's it. But no fractures, right? Now, when you go to the neck, this section, look, no evidence of deep tissue, no evidence of deep tissue of the ribs, no evidence of deep tissue on the pelvic section, no evidence of deep tissue injury on the subcutaneous and deep tissues of the back, the buttocks, the arms, and the legs. All right. All of these places are no signs of deep tissue injury or injury at all. Right. Okay. But if he was in the water for 2 days, that's 48 hours, you're prone to sustain other bruising just from traveling within the water, hitting the shore, hitting the bottom of the ocean, the seabed, you hit waves rolling around, bumping into debris if there's debris. This is a whole island. You're in the sound, all right, that leads to a gulf. This is where you at. You're in real waters, okay? So do you believe that? I just think that Officer Tatum is just on a crock of shite. And I just don't want to say the word right because I'm not trying to really curse, but I just think that he can't be trusted, man, just in my own opinion, man. You believe him if you want to. It just seems like he's already drawn his line in the sand, for no lack of a better word, no pun intended. And I just think that he's not giving Nolan a fair shake at all. Tell me what y'all think about him, though. What do you think about Officer Tatum? What do you think about the evidences that I just showed to you as well, that, you know, after a body's in water after a certain period of time, it incurs injuries or bruises at times. If Nolan was there for 2 days, that's damn near 48 hours, okay, he would have some kind of bruises, deep tissue bruising, right? We see none. The only thing that we're questioning is the neck region, the throat, because he could have been asphyxiated or he could have drowned. We will know if we have the internal neck structures, and we would know if there was water in his lung. So isn't that coincidental that they did not give those things to the second autopsy for them to examine every one of those things? Think about that for yourself. Tell me, what does that mean to you? Tell me what bells ring off in your head when I explain that to you, right? Remember, man, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bells, hype this video, like this video, share this video if you can with anybody that would love to see a video like this, and just make sure you're on go, man, because I will be on go. I'll be back in a minute.
All my niggas from the Hooters, all my niggas turn shooters, all my ops turn rap, all my niggas turn shooters, on the internet, you ain't been a threat.